They have to emulate them because you can't give what you don't have. They are a representative of the 1.4 billion Africans who were conquered. They can't remember where they came from. They can't know their power. They are just representatives. It's like corruption. The families are corrupt. The parents of Uganda are all corrupt. So they must produce corrupt citizens for the country. So if we want to fight corruption, the Amongis of this world are coming from corrupt communities, just like myself and you, all of us. So from the childhood, your father tells you, Uncle Bwaja, Mugambi, Nafude, oba natambudemu ndi gulu naye omwana omu omugezi anko tata yangambye nkugambye taliyo naali mu kisenge. Kati you realize the craftsmanship of this man already ali corrupted. Yeewola tayagala kusasula, mukyala we amufugira ku bulimba. Can you imagine? Omukazi obwenzi bwe bumujjudde, abaana bawamba tata waabwe ne mama waabwe. Single motherhood and separation is the thing of today, and the government doesn't care. Kati kibuuzo kyo ssebo mukama wange, inte basajja bano ate bo they are reflecting their inspirations from those leaders abroad. It's nonsensical, it's stupidity, it is a lack of vision. It's betrayal on the land of Africa, and such a guys need to be cast. And such a people should never be voted to power. Because Africa continues to be a beggar, a landing site for fake goods and services from the West. And even China and India, everywhere. Fake things are only in Africa. But you can imagine a good car from Japan goes and lands in America. And when you see it is completely different from stupid African product. The Chinese have the first standard, third standard, fifth standard. Do you know what comes to the funny Africa of ours? Leftovers. The fakest of the fakest is what we are enjoying here. Yet the Chinese are making very good products. Why? Because there is a trader of Africa who goes to China with a model or a sample that wayo kanunako mukanjolezemu mukankolere. Tikaina kuba kali akagenda mu America oba kagenda Dubai naye kakolenga kalabikanga kano. Such a kind of stupidity, and as if government doesn't exist. Are we cheap like this? That's why cancer on Mother Africa is increasing, because from fake medicine, fake food, fake cars, fake chairs, everything is fake, and so we in pollution. We are swimming in pollution.
Some cancer is fake.
Oh my God. So to answer your question, they cannot give what they don't have because they were colonized. And so they milked amatage banyu in terms of ebyenjigiriza, mu ebyensomesa, ebya church, ebyemizigiti, ebyonna, ebitabo byetusoma. You become what you see, what you read, what you associate yourself with. And so as a student who has just finished my master's degree in science and leadership and governance, I want to dismantle the very foundation of everything called colonial, because the colonial master cannot liberate you. His point and view and goal is to make sure Burkina Faso continues to be under the French, to make sure that Uganda still remains a protectorate of the British Empire. The DRC remains giving allegiance to the Belgians and the French, and so as all Africa. And so when Nelson Mandela was imprisoned for 27 years, 27 years means a long time of your youthful time to serve your family and your nation. The father of Africa was imprisoned 27 years. And so they made a deal and say, hey, Mr. Nelson Mandela, if we are to relieve you, go back, meet your wife and your children, we want to make a deal. And then Nelson Mandela asked, what a deal are you talking about? please, when you become a president, because we have seen for 27 years indeed, nobody seems to believe us. Everybody, I think, will not win this war. The black people will continue fighting us. And so we will not kill you because we want to make a deal today. Are you ready for the deal? Nelson Mandela said, okay, tell me what about the deal. Said when we would wish that we accept that you become a future president of South Africa. By then it had a different name anyway. Nelson Mandela was compromised to say yes to the deal, to make sure the white people remain in Africa and remain with while owning the property they had looted from Africans, including land. So that's why land is in the hands of the white people. When you go to the South Africa Air Force, majority are the white people. The richest people are really those people. Not the Africans are still slaves. They are still serving the white man, even up to today. Even when that opportunity came for Africans to be in the head office as the president. So being a president in Africa is just useless as ever before. Not as before 1840s. I mean from 1840 and now. Those are lost years. All those are lost years. Because the emulation is about the master. So the moment you become a president, your first trip is to visit your master. And so they give you a transcript, a menu to follow. That, hey, that is our protectorate. And for you to be the president, okay, the poor voters have voted. But we are the real voters. And we must influence how you lead on our behalf in Africa. And so the Nososka I'm talking about is to unleash our realistic position that time is now, that if we voted for you, Museveni, please unpack and plug, reawaken us to walk as Africans, to think as Africans, to build Uganda, to model the rest of Africa, to say it is possible for an African man to lead and mobilize all Ugandans for a possible liberation of social cultural transition, an economic independence, a political, legal, policy liberation. All these, then Africa can start turning back a cloth into a real cloth to go to even world market. We can use our oil and gas products to make our women continue using ebizigo bya wano nga tusobola kwekorera ebizigo. Enviri muri enviri tusobola zikora wano. Enjala bwe mbati bwina njala tusobola zikora wano. Emotoka tusobola zikora ngati wali na any spare part oba part kweva mu west kubanga yefa basinga natural resources. Tunulira kino boba tukimanyi. Did you know that 90% of the constitution of our African constitutions are just copy and paste? What type of stupidity is this? I don't see my culture in the constitution. I don't see a reflection of African values in our constitution. And so we are imprisoning people for nothing, for breaking a colonial law. So what a mess is going on. Yet in our African tradition, many cases we are handled in the community. What about the Chief Justice? The Chief Justice should handle serious cases that really are serious. No, so the family, the community would be handling this Ambabi and Koko Mbuzi. A colonial law from Germany cannot handle our African traditional cases. So the justice system needed to bend towards our African civilization, and so mitigating it require African way of controlling, managing, and managing conflicts, and restore a peaceful resolution to end crimes and immorality. So, as I conclude your point, sir, all our presidents at the African Union, even African Union, it's like it doesn't exist. Do you know why? The toilet they go to made in China, donated with a big letter at the entrance. This toilet was donated by the people of China. Toilet paper, this is donated by the people of Italy. Where they are seated, the building donated by European Union. Now, the food they are going to eat was funded by European Union, including your IALA, East African Community. So let me ask a point. Do you think those people are interested in your integration as Africa if they are the ones giving you underwears and the toilets and the rice you are eating? And already the language that you have, it cannot even allow you communicate and integrate and transform your people. So somehow wake up, African presidents, wake up from, and in fact I love that Toure man of West Africa. Ibrahim Traoré, in fact, I just love that guy. But the possibility that he can even do what he talked about may be really hard, because the scars, the roots of colonialism really entered many meters. It entrenched in us that removing them from us would require, I don't know, oba bomba nga tusika bwetu oba twetagayo syringe oba gundi empiso nga basikamo obusiro bagita dozi batutekamu nyingi kato kuzijjamu notandika okutegedde oli muganda wange bannange si kyangu. So here we are now having political parties are too many, religions are too many, policies that don't belong to us are too many. Kati twava ku byaffe kati ningamba in the president ne ku African Union ne ku East African Community komesa manya biki ebyo byonna all those to dismantle all those things banange mufiri katandika okutegeera kati we are now having leaders LC1 LC5 MP president bonna banaffe b'Afrika ekyo kinotandikira wansi kubanga leaders come from down. So Chitegeza, 1.4 billion people in Africa, all of them need to be baptized with the Africanicity culture of Ubuntu and Africa's renaissance and civilization, so that no more begging. How can an African beg, really? Africans used to walk with their father, mother. They learn from day one how to do work. The boy now today we don't have even men. They are marrying, women are beating them left and center. Sit down. A man is no longer providing for his family. Weak men. Can you imagine? How can Africa talk about youth unemployment? What is stupidity? This word does not exist in our African values. How? With all these problems, you say you are unemployed. Why can't you get one problem and work and solve it? Do you understand that was the African mentality? That you can't say there are no jobs, yet you have problems. Your work and your job is to work every day to craft the medicine, to treat people. Then you have employed yourself. Then you see lack of water, and we are seated on water. Why can't you open a drilling company and I don't know whether we have heads or just have there is somebody who really emptied us and told us we cannot do anything. We just have to worship him and wait for his food. Yet we have hands, we have eyes, we have capacity, we have natural resources within our environment to operate and succeed and live as individuals. So my brother, I am telling you for a fact, the African leaders, we don't have them. They don't exist. We have representatives of the West, of those civilizations. The president we have, like Museveni, is good. He's good in the perspective that he's trying to tell us. But then he only tells us. The implementers of his vision are not there. They are confused because they don't have what he's talking about. They can't move, they can't deliver because the bayonga lyali colonial si mame yayonza waliwe yayonza mabere gano tulina ogatemako tutandika okukola flag empya ne Uganda tujiwe erinnya erya Uganda tutumanyi na linnya lya Uganda. What does Uganda mean? The word Uganda in your local language. From day one we don't know even these names. And so I would feel a holistic reform of the context of leadership in Africa. And so the leaders must even stop going there. They must stop emulating President Macron, Manyama. These people make nuclear bombs to kill people. Can you imagine? So how can you emulate President Macron? How? Really, how? The others don't have family. Some presidents there, they don't have. Some presidents abroad there, they're homosexuals. Now, how do you imitate that kind of nonsense? You go to the United Nations where things are nurtured. We have the UN member nations, but we have also the NATO members. Oh, so United Nations, therefore, that represents us 54 signatures. We are actually the biggest voter. Can you imagine? For whatever goes around the world, the bad things, we are the ones actually who has the majority. And yet those endorsements are against us. The stupidity, the ignorance. And so if I am a head of state, I can't even go to such a kind of stupid headquarter until there is a reform of the United Nations where individual nations have equal stake and power at the United Nations. NATO, 5 countries who are nuclear powered are the ones who actually control the United Nations, and they are even in conflict with each other, and they are the ones who threaten global peace.